Hello everyone, Crosstown Gamer here, and today we're going to continue our playthrough of Andean Abyss, which is Volume 1 in the Coin series by GMT, Game Design, Volko Runke. This is just a quick rundown of what the map looks like here, and we are eligible. We're playing as the government, if you recall, and the bots are going to be played by the other factions are going to be played by the bots. So we're eligible, the AUC is eligible. And just to give a quick rundown of what happened last time, the FARC rallied pretty much everywhere on the map, so it's just this sea of red pieces, which is a little unsettling. And then the Cartel actually shifted this space one level toward opposition, which caused the FARC victory condition to get a little closer to a win for them. And remember, we're not going to, even if they cross this, they don't actually win until the propaganda card comes out. So we're safe, but it's just still a little unsettling because it's like the third card and we're already up against the wire. So I want to get into it really nice and quickly here. The next card up on deck is going to be Former Military. And it just has that second ops symbol I was talking about where if the bot is second eligible, it's going to do an operation instead of doing the event, even if it would otherwise do the event. But doesn't matter in this situation. I just wanted to point that out. So the AUC are up, and their symbol is in the upper left, the first in the card order. So they are likely going to do the event. If we just double check here, they're going to play the shaded event if it has an effect, and they are first up on the card. So we are going to do the shaded version of the event. AUC free marches any of its guerrillas, and then at any one destination free ambushes. So whenever it says any of its guerrillas or any one destination, that's pretty open. So it's not like you have to be isolated to one destination space and move guerrillas into one space. When it says any guerrillas, then that means like any and all of them can move. It's pretty literal, the text of the cards and stuff. So I believe that means basically anything goes as far as the march. And then in any one destination, so anywhere where an ambush is possible, they're able to do it. It doesn't have to be one of the spaces selected for a march. It can just be anything. The bot for this does have some special instructions for Former Military. So if the AUC is a non-player, which it is, use the march and attack priorities, and that's what's listed here in the spreadsheet. So the reason, even though the card said ambush, you use the attack priorities for the ambush, because the ambush is the special ability that goes with attack. Anyway, let's see how it works. So this is going to happen in a maximum of 2 spots because there's only 2 priorities listed there. And we're going to leave at least one AUC guerrilla in each space with an AUC base or any FARC. So if there's a base, one of the yellow bases, or any red pieces at all, you have to leave one guerrilla behind. And that's most of the board right now, honestly. Most of the board has red pieces on it. So all of these little singleton spots where there's a department that has only a single AUC piece, because a march would leave one of those behind in that event anyway, then we're not even going to touch those or consider destinations that come from those origin spaces. So that does whittle down a lot of what the AUC can do with this event. They do have a couple of spots up here that have multiple pieces, and this one has an AUC base, so we do have to leave one behind as per the flowchart, but this one does not, so they can safely leave this space altogether and leave it completely empty. And remember, they don't care much about control. In fact, AUC can't control a space. Only the FARC and the government can do that. So they're not that concerned about leaving spaces empty on the map. It doesn't contribute to their win condition. And then just a last minute side note here for the bots, they will tend to only march with however many guerrillas would be required to keep them underground. So they don't want to march, a bunch of pieces in only to have them be activated. If that activation is unavoidable, so here's a spot with a bunch of government cubes in it. If they were to march anything in here, they would flip to active. If it's unavoidable, then they're going to start with the active ones already. So that way they end up leaving behind one of the pieces to protect the base that's underground still. So just a little side note that we got to keep that in mind. So yeah, these two squares are good origin spaces, and then we have to figure out where the destinations are based on these priorities. 2, 1 department or city, so no line of communication. With FARC and no AUC guerrillas. And then the with here is saying how many or which pieces are you going to move with. But this with up here is stating what kind of department or city it is. So a department or city with FARC and no AUC guerrillas. So since we're locked in with this space and this space, we don't really have to focus much on this part of the board, which is great. The surrounding spaces, like up here, for example, any adjacent space would be like this city, this city, this city, this department actually, because it can flip over. None of these cities have any FARC pieces, and so it doesn't seem like they really want to do that. They don't have any AUC guerrillas, but they don't have any FARC pieces, so that's a no-go. This one does, so they could march to here. But the preference is going to go to places with a FARC base. So I think the only spot... So like this space has a FARC base, but it already has an AUC guerrilla. So this is not an eligible location to march to from here. This one, however, does have a FARC base, no AUC guerrillas. So I think that's our candidate for that first priority there. That's the only one that makes sense. So we're going to do that. And where and so that AUC guerrillas can stay underground. That's what they would like. But that's not going to happen. So I'm not sure if... Yeah, I mean, they could march with just the one, I guess, over there. But the way the march works, and the reason I'm hesitating at all, is because if the place has support or opposition, and you're moving, or it's a line of communication, and you're moving guerrillas, plus the FARC guerrillas, plus any cubes there exceeds 3, then you activate the moving guerrillas. So there's already 3 FARC guerrillas here. So anything that moves into there, and it has opposition. So anything that moves in there is going to get activated. So, gee whiz. Yeah, let's see this here. With all adjacent guerrillas. Oh, this is just a priority, though, of like if you're... if there's multiple, the A and the B, so the 1 is like do everything here. The A and the B is like narrowing down your choices. So if you had like 4 choices that you're going through on the board, 4 places that make sense for this, you're narrowing them down based on this, and then when you run out of priorities and you still have 2 to go from, that's when you choose randomly. It's not saying that it has to be so that all of them can stay underground, because it's saying it's marching with all the guerrillas. It's just that if there was a spot that would allow them to march there without activating them, it would choose that spot over any other spot. So we are still going to march with everything except for 1. We're going to leave 1 guerrilla behind because that's what the march says at the top. So these are going to activate, and they will march with this, like I said, first because they want to leave behind one that is underground. So they'll march here, and it's free because of the card says it's free. So they'll march like this and activate those because the total number of these plus these is more than 3. Okay. Then the second priority is to a space closer to FARC with target group of AUC's largest group of AUC guerrillas yet to move. Well, the largest group yet to move is this pack of 2 up here. So they're going to go to a space that could be a department, a line of communication, a city, anything, with all of them because they don't have to leave one behind. There's no base. And they're going to go closer to a FARC base if possible. So it seems as though they have a couple of choices. They could go here because this would put them into a city that's closer to a FARC base. They could go here. They could go onto this line of communication because this is technically closer. I think it wants to go as close as possible, so this would make more sense to me. They want to march here. That's closer to a FARC base. In fact, it's the same distance. They could march here. Yeah, because no more is the condition that there can't be other guerrillas there, AUC guerrillas there. So they could go here, here, here. These are all farther away. This is actually with a FARC piece, just not a base. But I think if that's the case, then it does say that it wants to just get closer to the FARC altogether, and then the nested priority is closer to a base. So being able to hop over this town and go into this space here makes the most sense to me because it's in a space with FARC and it's still closer to the base. So I think that's what they're going to do. They'll march with everything they got down to here, and now the marching guerrillas 1, 2 plus the FARC 3 plus all the cubes 4, 5, and 6 that exceeds 3. So we are going to activate these. Oh my gosh, that was a tough. We're not even done. That's the first half of the card. The other one is in any space it can free ambush, and we're going to use the attack priorities. So in up to 3 spaces. Oh, but it's 1 space because the card says 1. With underground AUC or at least 3 AUC guerrillas, but we need for ambush to happen, it needs to be in a spot with underground AUCs. So any spot with underground AUC, let's take a look at actually the way this technically works. So an attack space with underground guerrilla. An attack is any space with guerrilla and enemy. So combining those, you need any space with enemies and underground guerrillas. Normally, you'd activate all the guerrillas, roll a die, and then remove some enemy pieces. Up here, the procedure is that you only activate one of the underground guerrillas, so that's why you only need a spot with an underground AUC guerrilla. And it automatically succeeds. You don't have to roll at all. And then you also get to place a guerrilla there. So that's just the procedure, how it works. And we see that this is an eligible space, this, that. Basically everywhere except for here and here are eligible for that. To remove shipments, there's no shipments on the map. The shipments are down here. And they function similar to cash in Cuba Libre, kind of. Then to remove FARC, and then to remove government. And within those, at the most AUC guerrillas. Okay. Target shipment. Target FARC, yeah. So they want to do this with the most AUC guerrillas. And they want to target the FARC. Just taking my time to make sure this is correct here. Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't. Like, all of these spots are eligible, so the spot that's eligible with the most guerrillas in it is going to be this one, and they would target the FARC based on this priority chart here. Seems kind of lame. Like, they'd want to attack like here or something where there's more stuff there, because the attack takes out 2 enemy pieces. So it seems like they'd want to do it with a base or with a bunch of pieces there. Like, they could completely eliminate the FARC down here, whereas up here it's only doing one thing. And I know the bots typically want to do as much damage as possible, so allow me to just double check on the rule text to see if maybe the flowchart is just a little more incomplete. Pause. Hey, I'm back. I didn't really get it cleared up, but I mean, I know the text says use march and attack priorities. I just wanted to point out that this is kind of funny because it's wanting to use the most AUC guerrillas here, and then for the ambush, which we're actually doing, they want to do the fewest total AUC guerrillas here. So to me, those are kind of conflicting goals. I know that the thing does say to use the attack priorities, and like, they're not attacking us anyway, so I'm not really that concerned. If anything, this spot would actually help us if we got rid of them there. However, just because I just feel like they want to take to the fullest extent, they want to do what they want to do. No, I should go with what it actually says. It says with the attack priorities, I'm going to use the attack priorities at the most AUC guerrillas, and it needs to have underground AUC, because in order to do ambush, you have to do that. So we're going to do it here, and what happens procedurally is that we activate that, the attack succeeds, so we take out this guerrilla, goes back to the available box, and we get to place, or we have to, I guess, place one additional AUC guerrilla there based on that. So, by the letter of the law rather than the intent, I think, but that's how it works. So that was that event, and now we get to do something. So we can do an operation plus special activity. Let's take a look at our menu here of actions and see what we want to do. So we could train. We've got a just, buttload of pieces over there to put onto the map. That would allow us to just put a bunch of cubes in. That might be worth something. And we can buy civic action at each. Okay, up to one. Place cubes. Buy civic action. I think we can buy civic actions in cities. It might be worth it to get this spot back in business. So a train is looking good. Patrol is to basically move a bunch of cubes around, and we can activate guerrillas there. And we can conduct free assaults in a line of communication, which is also very great. But right now they're free and clear, the lines of communication, so I'm not too worried about it. If there is a city or department with a bunch of enemy pieces, we can sweep there and activate a bunch, but we're basically in the cities except for down here. So I'm not as concerned about that. And then assault is to attack and remove active guerrillas or base. And this is a potential candidate there for that because they have a bunch of active pieces there. But I'm not worried about it yet. That's already at active support. We've got a base there. Things are looking pretty good. I guess we're not in control of that space because it's uncontrolled right now. There's 4 pieces to our 4 pieces. But yeah, I'm thinking a train might be good so that we could buy a civic action and hopefully get that going. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to double check really quick. The civic action, we do need control. but we have that. And we need at least one police and one troop. So we've got that here, so we can do that. Let's look at the procedure. So any departments or cities, 3 resources per selected space, and we have 40 resources, so it may seem like a lot, but it goes pretty quick. At each selected city, we're going to place up to 6 cubes. Then in one selected space, we can replace 3 cubes with a government base. It's pretty worthless. I actually don't think you can place. Maybe you can, but it's pretty dumb to place government bases in cities. And so there's no other real spot. I guess we could place one here, but we only have 3 total bases possible, so I kind of wanted to spread those around the map so that we could keep up. So we're just going to go into various or if troops we're going to, instead of placing a base, we're going to do the civic action thing in one of the selected spaces. So where are we going to do this? Definitely down here, because we want to do that civic action. And I'm trying to think of, it might be good to just go right into we could try to expand up this direction because there's not a lot going on up here. It might be easy to take over, but we already have support up here. I'm not as concerned about that. We could get some extra points up there. It might be nice to get pieces up in here eventually, because that's a 2 population area. And so if we could get support there, it's double your bucks. But similarly, down here is a concern. So this is good. Might need to go a little more defensible here. So let's do it. And then let's do one more. And we'll do it up real nice. Maybe here. Just so we've got flexibility. So those are the 3 spots we're gonna do it in. And we place up to 6 cubes in each of those. So I'm just gonna go like 4 troops and 2 police in this spot. We're just gonna put them in the overflow. We're gonna put everything in the overflow for that city because it's small. And I think we'll leave the marker there just so it's on the map and we know we can see it. Okay. So we placed 6 pieces there. We can place 6 pieces here, maybe half and half. Troops and police. Yeah, this is great. Sweet. And then let's do it the same way, about half and half here. So, okay. Then, in up to 1 selected space, replace 3 cubes with a government base, or if there's troops, police, and control, buy a civic action. So that's what we'll do down here. We'll buy the civic action. Those cost 3 resources a piece as well. And first you have to remove any terror markers that are there. There are none. So this will cost 3. And then if we want to, which I think maybe we should, we can do another step. So 3 resources to do passive. So we're at 6, plus the 9 already from the other stuff. And I'm tempted to do it again. Why not? And then another 3 here. I don't think there's a limit on how many civic actions in a space you can buy. I think there is in Gandhi, or it's like it scales the resources that you spend. I can double check that to make sure, but so that was 9 resources for the civic action, plus 9 resources that we did it in various locations, which is 18 resources. So already we're down to 22 resources. So they go like hotcakes. But we removed opposition there, so the opposition plus bases goes down, and we gained 2 times 3 is 6 total support, so we go up to 56. And just like that, we're getting close now, though we can't win till the end of this big old deck of cards. So that goes there. We adjust the eligibility, and we move on to the next card. So that one was complicated, and I apologize for that. It took a lot of time, but we're still learning a little bit of the ropes here, and we got to strategize some way. So, whatever. The Cartel are up next, followed by the FARC. Let's see if we can get through one more card. The Cartel might be able to do Criminal Air Force. We'll see. And after that is going to be airdropped AKs. So let's look at the Cartel's sheet. They are not first on this card, and they're not second eligible, so looks like we're going to do this. Are there 10 plus pieces available? Yes, they have exactly 10. They have exactly 10 available pieces. Or Rally can place a base. I don't think a Rally can place any base because they don't have a lot of pieces on the map that you have to give up, I think, 2 pieces. And they do have 1 base here, so they still have a stackable location where they can add another base, but they don't have enough pieces there. So no, but it's a yes because they do have 10 plus pieces available. So guerrillas to underground, that doesn't matter because all their guerrillas are underground. Place bases, so no. And this is a max of 3, we got to keep that in mind. Place guerrillas where Cartel bases, but no guerrillas. Okay. That they've got a bunch of bases on the map. I think 6. There's 3 here, but these have guerrillas, and then there's 3 here, and these don't. So place guerrillas where Cartel bases, but no guerrillas. So this is going to be the priority here, and we're going to do that to the fullest extent, which means we're going to rally in these 3 locations. Let's take a look at the rally instructions for... Oh my gosh, though. I know we know what the next card is and stuff, but I didn't do the special activity. Oh, bummer. Okay. Rewind just a little bit. I want to do our special activity. We did the train, but we didn't do airlift or eradicate. So airlift, we can move up to 3 troops from any one space to another. That might be nice. Or eradicate, the aid moves +4, but we don't get any aid. I think we can still move it, but we can't receive any aid. Remove all cartel bases. Yeah, any one department with cartel pieces. Remove all bases there. Shift that or an adjacent department 1 level toward active opposition if possible. Okay. If not, place a FARC guerrilla in that department. So, for example, we could do it here. Remove all their bases. And that's nice. And then it's already at active opposition, so the FARC would get to place a piece there. Do we want to do that, or do we want to move? Because I think we actually want to move here. The cartels aren't close to their win condition yet, so I think we can leave them be for just a little bit. We can always eradicate later. So we're going to move up to 3 troops from any one space to another, so any other space. And I think we want to take from... Well, let's take it from here, because we got a ton. So we can move up to 3 troops, and we can move them to any other location. We want to do it in a spot where we think we can upset the balance here. It might be worth it to go... I know there's only 2 here. Population. Oh, you know what? We should go up here. We'll go here. Because if we can sweep and activate this guerrilla, then if we did an assault, we could end up taking out bases, pieces, and then we also want to be present in here so that we can eventually, by civic actions or wherever, to plop a base down of our own and get this going up toward support. So that's what we want to do. And I know I teased you guys with the rally. Yeah, let's do the next card anyway. 30 minutes has gone by, but let's just keep it going. So that was our special ability, activity, sorry. Now I'm getting confused with Falling Sky. They call them special abilities. We did this. This is a yes. We're going to place guerrillas where cartel bases, but no guerrillas. And any department or cities, support or opposition doesn't matter. If there's a base, place guerrillas up to the population plus bases. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Population plus bases in each of these is going to be 2, because 1 for the population, 1 for the base. So they're going to just do a 2, a 4, a 6. Next, they will do... So now that they've done their max of 3, so that we're going to ignore these 2. Yeah, I was just reading what those are. If no guerrillas available for 3, well, that's not true. Rally in 1 department to enable cartels to then cultivate. Space where population's greater than 0. So then, greater than 0 and cartels, guerrillas outnumber the police. So they're gonna place a base in a place where they just... Okay, let's read the cultivate thing. A department or city with greater population, yeah, and they outnumber the police. Move 1 cartel base from anywhere on the map to the selected space, or, if rally department, place 1 base there. It's a rally department, so they place 1 base there. Or they can. So, but none of those have room for a base. There's already 2 bases in each of those. So they're actually not going to do that. Or they can move a base to a city or department where there are no cartel bases from a space with 2 cartel bases. Okay, I got it. So these ones don't have to be... to move the base, it doesn't have to be one that was selected by the rally, but to place the base, it does. So we can't place the base, but they can move a base from anywhere. It doesn't have to be the one that was from the rally. So they're going to move one of these bases, because that's the only spot where they have 2. They're going to move it to a space where they only have 1. And no cartel bases. And there are a bunch of those spots on the map that are eligible for that, because it could be anywhere. In this base, yeah. I'm just hesitating because the population has to be greater than 0, but I'm trying to figure out if we're moving. Is that the space? Are we selecting the space that we're moving to or that we're moving from? Let me just check the rules. Okay, specifically, it's saying the destination of where we're going to move to is going to have more, more guerrillas there than police, which is true in like all the departments. Well, not all of them. Only some of them have actual pieces. You know, actually, they don't have a viable location for this at all. I was gonna say most of the map is, but the cartels, guerrillas, have to outnumber police, and in most of them there are 0 cartel guerrillas, meaning 0 does not outnumber 0 police. So the only spots where it would be even possible to move bases to would be spaces with cartel guerrillas there already, which is only these 3 spaces, and this one, and this space here, but 1 does not outnumber the 3 police that's there. So It looks like they don't have, it's if none, then process. So we can't cultivate, so they're going to process instead. Whew. So place 2 shipments into random spaces with Cartel Gorilla and Cartel base. If no such base, remove 1 base. Let's take a look at the process procedure. And anywhere with bases, place 1 to 2 shipments with any guerrillas, or remove any cartel bases and add 3 cartel resources for each. So they're like selling off their drug operation businesses. That's cool. But first priority, they want to place 2 shipments into random spaces with Cartel Gorilla and Cartel Base. So that could be any boop, 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 boop. Any of those 5. Because they can go to, cities or departments with Cartel Bases or Guerrillas. Now we are going to do the whole roll 3 dice thing, because there's enough spaces there that it doesn't make sense to do. I mean, I guess we could just assign each one to 1 and then re-roll on a 6, but that's fine. Let's see this in action. So 3, 6, 2. Where's the place? 3. So this row, 6, this column, and a 2 is Meta West. Meta West is a spot. Yay, we figured it out. Okay, so they're going to place 2 shipment markers there. Or is it place 1? Place 1 to 2 shipment markers with any guerrillas. Yeah, so they're going to place 2 here. And just do that. And then it does say on the sheet, place 2 shipments into random spaces, so they can do a max of 2. There are still a bunch of spots. So we already rolled for this, and that was Meta West. Let's just continue down. It does Naiva count? Where is that? Oh my gosh. It's probably one of these cities, huh? That's what the purple is? Yeah. It's there. That doesn't count. Huila? Anybody? Bueller? It's this one. Doesn't count. Pasto is a city. The only city that would work would be Cali, so not there. Ecuador, Nariño. Oh, Nariño is there. Yeah. Nariño doesn't work. Choco doesn't work. Cali is the next one. Okay, so we went down the list, boop, 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 and then we passed up here to Cali. That does work, so they're going to place their 2 shipments with this gorilla here. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. I should double check. Yep, seems legal to me. Okay, so that was their operation plus special activity. And so they did a, what did they do? They did a rally and then a process. So then the FARC are up. And apologies. So if they're first up, no. They're second eligible, yes, and there's no 2-player or 2 second eligible ops only thing. And there's not on this, so it looks like they will do the event. They're going to do shaded if it has anything, which it's just a 1. All insurgent faction moves 1 or 2 guerrillas between any 2. Oh my gosh, this is going to take an eternity. Criminal Air Force. I know this is under the event instructions for AUC, but executing faction moves using its 2 march priority from where it has the most guerrillas as much as possible within active guerrillas. So, and flips them underground. Yeah. 2 march priority from where it has the most guerrillas as much as possible within active guerrillas. So, and flips them underground. Yeah. 2 march priority from where it has the most guerrillas as much as possible within active guerrillas. So, and flips them underground. Yeah. 2 march priority from where it has the most guerrillas as much as possible within active guerrillas. So, and flips them underground. Yeah. Yep, okay. Makes sense to me. So it's just all the insurgent. Oh no, an insurgent. Okay. Thank God. I was worried that it said all insurgent. I think I was just, you know, treating that N as a double L. An insurgent faction. So they're going to pick themselves to do this. They can move 1 or 2 guerrillas between any 2 departments and flip them underground. So it uses their 2 march command. And what else? From where it has the most guerrillas, as much as possible within active guerrillas. So I think the most guerrillas they have is 4, and that's here, here, and here. Everywhere else is 3. So it seems like they want to move 1 to 2 guerrillas. 1 to 2 guerrillas between any 2 departments and flip them underground. So I don't think that's 2 per 2 departments. I think it's 1 guerrilla between 2 departments, or 2. Oh, because it doesn't say they have to be adjacent. That's the kicker here. They get to teleport, and it's an airplane. Yeah, okay. It's all making sense to me now. Moves 1 or 2 guerrillas between any 2 departments and flips them underground. So, of those 3 spots where they have the most guerrillas, they each have 1 active guerrilla. So they just want to move their active guerrilla between a random selection of these 2. Where are they going to? Onto all sabotage locks. I think it says between departments. So 2 up to 3 spaces with 1 plus population at support or neutral and no FARC control. Okay, so 1 plus population with that's support or neutral, no FARC control. Oh boy. And it's departments, so not cities. This has 1 plus population, no fire control. This one, this one. Yeah, like this part of the map. Let's do the dice thing again, because and then we can check individually where they want to go to. First, though, let's decide where they're going from. It's either here, here, or here. And so we're going to do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3. So from here, they're going to move this gorilla, and they're going to move 3, 1, 1. 3, 1, 1. Cali doesn't count. We can't do cities, so Ibakwe doesn't count. Antioquia, where's that? Here. This is a perfectly viable location. So they're going to take their gorilla, they're going to go over here, and they're going to flip it underground. Because it makes no mention of saying that it, as much as possible with active gorillas. It doesn't say anything about ones that are already underground, and the card text says 1 or 2, so it just moved the 1 rather than both. Okay, so it did the event, and we can finally put this episode to bed. Apologies for it being so long, but we're going to adjust our eligibility here. Got through an extra card because of it. And the next card that's going to be up is airdropped AKs. And it looks like the AUC is going to be the first eligible on that one. And then Ejército de Liberación Nacional. Okay. My Spanish isn't great, and so apologies if I mispronounce a bunch of stuff. I think we're good. I'm going to take a look at support and everything off camera. I know this one was a bit of a slog, but I do have confidence that we're going to be able to get through this a lot faster than Falling Sky, so Thanks for hanging with me if you made it this far, and this has been another episode of Andean Abyss. I'm Crosstown Gamer, signing off.